bring in Chris Broussard, who, of course, you can hear on his own radio show with crazy Rob Parker, who's been taking some L's this week. Of course, you also see Chris on all of our shows here on Fox Sports 1. What do you make of Jeanie Buss saying, like, well, if you don't want to play with this, we don't want you, like, really?
Yeah, it like you said, it's unnecessary bravado. And I get it. She was asked a question. You said she's off brand. You know, she was asked a question. But you could easily say, look, we think we got a good thing going. You know, LeBron is here. The best player in the world is here. And we think a lot of players are going to want to play with him. He shares the ball. You know, other guys will get shots. You know, you could go a number of ways. You didn't have to go here because you're right. It does. Look, first of all, it's just factually incorrect. You want Paul George. You wish you had Paul George right now. What if, imagine if this Lakers team had this version of Paul George.
Right.
They'd be right there. You want Kevin Durant. You want Kawhi Leonard. You want, Kyrie Irving. Any of these guys that are going to be free agents, you would take them. And the thing is this, it's not wrong of Kawhi Leonard or some other star if they don't want to go play with LeBron. If I've got the man ability, right, and very few players in this league have that, but if I'm one of them, I want to be the man. So if Kawhi Leonard wants to go to the Clippers and take his own shot at leading his own team to a championship, I respect that. It doesn't have to be a knock against LeBron. It may just be, I want to give it my shot and see if I can lead a team. When Kevin Durant went to Golden State, everybody crushed him for the most part. Now a lot of people are saying he needs to go somewhere else, the Knicks or somebody, and lead them to a title. So if somebody doesn't want to go play with LeBron, it doesn't mean they don't have the character to play for the Lakers or something like that.
But the first guy to break away from LeBron was Kyrie Irving, right? And Kyrie, of course, I don't think it went over the way he wanted to go over. That's why he had to kind of readdress it. But he did say, like, hey, these guys don't know what it takes to win a championship. I do. And then he came out and said, like, I called LeBron, apologized for how I was before. I may be the only one to point out, of course, he's a starter in the All-Star team. He has backed up the talk with some walk. I mean, he's been 27-18, 38-11, 32-5, 26-10. I know they play the Warriors tomorrow night.
Right.
It feels like Kyrie has responded in the way you're supposed to respond to some sort of adversity, in that, all right, you want to talk it, fine, go out and show us. And he's kind of shown us.
You're absolutely right. And I said, well, Kevin Love even, there's a report that he's like, hey, maybe they will get together, or, I could see it happening. Tristan Thompson said the same thing. I said a week ago on this show, Kyrie has to decide, he has to look within himself and say, okay, do I want to be the leader and take on all those responsibilities of teaching young guys, guiding young guys, taking the blame as well as the credit for our downfall, making sure the chemistry is right, the egos in the locker room, everything is right. He didn't have to do that in Cleveland. So he had to decide, do I want that responsibility as the leader, or do I just want to be like a hired gun, be able to just go out and ball and not have to worry about that? And that's when I was like, if he didn't want to worry about that, he could go play with LeBron. I believe, to your point, he has made that decision. And he has accepted that, you know what? I do want to be a leader. I do want to have my own team. I do want the responsibility that comes with that. And I think, Doug, I think this whole season for Boston's been a tug of war of, okay, are we that equal opportunity offensive type team with ball movement and everything that we were without Kyrie and got to the Eastern Conference Finals? Or are we a star-driven team with Kyrie as the driver? Kyrie Irving has answered that question in the last 4 games and said he's given them an identity of, it's Kyrie's team now. And you guys, Jason Tatum, all you guys, get in where you fit in around me, but it's my team. I'm going to lead it. He was trying to do it with words a few weeks ago. Now he's doing it with actions. And, I mean, like as a point guard in your day, his assist numbers he's basically doubled his assist numbers. Now it was only 4 games, but he's never averaged more than 6 assists a game. He's averaging 11 over the last 4.
I'll let you know a conversation I had with Brad Stevens. It was the day after the NBA draft last year, and I happened to be in Boston. And so I called Brad up, and he's like, yeah, we'll have lunch. I got press conferences, whatever. I got time. So I was like, I asked him this question, like, can Kyrie pass? He's like, Kyrie's the best passer I've ever seen.
Great passer.
And I said, well, why the hell doesn't he? Why didn't he do it more?
Right.
And he's like, that's a great question. He goes, and what he said was he yearned for the professionalism that they had in Boston, that in Cleveland. It wasn't that they were unprofessional, but it's just at least how LeBron was in Cleveland. It was very, very different. LeBron didn't really practice.
Everything revolved around LeBron.
Yes, plus he didn't really practice. He kind of worked out on his own, did his own thing, and then they had kind of a group of young guys that would like practice kind of without him. And so it was very, very different. Whereas in Boston, you have this group, this Al Horford and now Gordon Hayward, and where they are in the offseason. They come in, they get their work done, they go home. They come into practice, they get their work done, and they go home. It's a very professional kind of atmosphere. Anyway, I asked him, like, well, he's such a good passer, why didn't he pass? He's like, that's really the challenge, is does he, if he wants to be, it's like defense. Like, he can guard people.
Right. His
Do you
defense
want
has
to?
improved too,
Everybody,
yeah.
and he's been able to get away with just being the best finisher and making big shots. And, look, tomorrow night's going to be an incredible challenge for him, but it'll be interesting to see how he accepts it. I want to ask you about the Warriors. There are people that gave me a bunch of pushback when I said, like, look, I understand that we all have this image of DeMarcus Cousins as an all-star, but he's never played a playoff game. His team got better last year when he got hurt. And he's not – it's a bad injury for anybody, but for a big guy carrying 270, 280 pounds, he doesn't have the lift. And they will have to play defensively very, very differently if you play with a true center on the floor at the end of games. What's the rest of the league? What are you hearing about what they think of the Warriors as they're now coming to their kind of full construction? Well,
the defense is the question mark. And a lot of people are like, we're going to put Cousins in that pick and roll and exploit him. And so look, offensively, he's fitting in fine. I mean, I've never seen him run the floor like this. He's rim running, let's see if he keeps it up, but he's certainly been doing that early.
Floor is a little tilted. He runs this way really fast. Sometimes he doesn't run the other way all that fast.
We know he's a good three-point shooter. Not a great
He's
one,
a great offensive player.
Right.
With the basketball.
And he's moving the ball fairly well. So I think offensively he's fitting in well, and he's a great passer for a big man. So if he buys in, and I think he is, then that gives another dynamic to their offense. They had everything covered, Doug. The threes, the mid-range, the driving game, the backdoor cuts, all that. They didn't have a post guy. Not that they needed it necessarily, but now they even have that option with Cousins. Defense is where the questions are, and teams know, look, we can't stop him offensively, but he does give us a guy we can exploit. They always try to go at Steph.
Now you have two guys.
You got two guys.
Now you have two guys. Yeah. You can hide one. It's really hard.
It's harder to hide two.
Really hard to hide two. What's the state of the Sixers? That's a weird group.
They are better with Jimmy Butler, I believe. I think they're 19-9 with him. That's about a 56-win pace or something like that. But from what I've heard, it's the same thing as it was in Chicago and Minnesota. And I've talked to people up there. He's rubbing guys the wrong way. So Elton Brand, the GM, has to decide, are we going to keep him? And think about it. He's not going to be happy unless he gets the full 5 years, 190. Because that was one of the things that had him all out of sorts in Minnesota, is that he wasn't the money. People thought it was just, the young guys are soft. But he also was like, you paid them. And I haven't gotten paid, or you're not guaranteeing me I'm going to get paid. So you got to give him the 190. And if you pay him, do you want that attitude? You think he's doing some things now? What's he going to be like once he's got that money?
It's the old Chris Carter. Money doesn't make you a different person. It makes you more of what you are. Right.
And do you want that example for Embiid and Simmons, who are your future? So I think Elton Brand's got a big decision to make. If we're not going to keep him, then I think you got to trade him. And I'll tell you what, look, we start off with the Lakers. I don't think they're not getting KD, I don't believe. I don't think they're getting Kawhi. I don't think Kyrie's going there. I don't think Klay's going there. I would take Jimmy Butler if I'm the Lakers. I would trade for Jimmy Butler if I could, because LeBron, Jimmy, all these issues he's had, Chicago, Minnesota, now Philadelphia. What's the common theme? Young guys. Young guys, he may respect their talent or their games, but they're young. What are they going to tell Jimmy Butler?
He also does.
He couldn't do that with LeBron.
Yes, he also does the car service to the game thing. He's also, he's little Jimmy Butler Inc.
Yep. Doesn't get on the team bus on the way to games.
Yeah, so
but I think with LeBron, though, he would respect LeBron, and LeBron's the leader. If you're the Lakers, I think LeBron and Jimmy Butler would be a heck of a tandem.
Still need shooting.
They do
need shooting, and I think they think Anthony Davis is the guy they would prefer to.
I think it's going to be difficult to get him. No doubt that he's the guy they prefer, but he's not getting. This is what's going to happen. He's not going to have to demand a trade. He says he doesn't want to be the bad guy. This summer, New Orleans is going to put that Supermax in front of him on the table.
Right.
He's going to reject it.
That's a lot of money.
I believe he's going to reject it.
Yeah.
But if he rejects it, then they're going to realize, okay,
we got to move.
Right.
Okay, I got one more for you. The James Harden run is pretty remarkable. And look, I can sit here and say, did you see the stat? It's 163 consecutive points without somebody assisting on it.
That's unbelievable.
Which
now,
means,
that's not great team basketball, obviously, but that does make it more impressive for him. Don't you think? It's just harder to do.
It's really hard to do.
Saying.
I don't know if impressive is the word. It's hard to do, and I know that should go hand in hand with impressive. But like in this day and age of ball movement offense, that is not what they do.
You're not going to win at a high level. There's no way. Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James could not win as one-man shows. James Harden's not winning a title as one-man show. In
fairness to James Harden, he isn't technically a one-man show. Other guys will score off of his passing. He just won't score off of their passing.
But he does it all. Yeah.
Right. But
he's shooting what? In this run, he's averaging 43 points. What's he averaging? 20, close to 30 shots a game?
Yes.
He's shooting more threes than volume shooters shoot total shots.
Yes.
Like Westbrook averages 20 shots a game. Harden has games where he shoots 23s.
So with that sort of ball, do we have to give him the MVP because he's taken more shots? He has the ball more. Like literally has the ball, taking a shot or making a play every possession.
I hear you because can I bring up quickly? Remember when Michael Jordan played point guard the last 24 games of the 89 season? Yeah. He averaged 30 points, 11 assists, and 9 rebounds because he had the ball all the time.
Right.
And he was making every play.
Yeah, and pace of play was slower then than it is now.
Right, so the numbers might even be higher. Yes. And the three-pointer wasn't a factor. But I do think Harden is the clear leader for the MVP. I'm a voter. If I had to vote today, he would undoubtedly get my vote because here's the other thing, Doug. They're winning.
Yes.
They're 15-6 during this 21-game
I know I have to
run.
wrap, but I'm going to blow it off for one more. What's the matter with Russell Westbrook's shot? What happened? He was never a great shooter, but now he's 4 of 8 from the free throw line. And I know he made them the night before, but there's something physically wrong with his shot, which wasn't there before.
Some people talk about the routine of he used to be able to walk back to between free throws, walk back to the half-court line and come back. The league got rid of that. You can't do that
but he's
anymore.
not shooting the ball from the perimeter the same either. Right. There's something wrong with the shot.
I don't know how to explain it. I would like to see it over, like if it carries over to next year, before I say, okay, this dude is – I don't know how to explain it. Is it mental? He's playing good basketball otherwise, great basketball otherwise, but he's just not shooting it well.
No, and he shoots a lot. What Yogi Berra said, 50% mental, 75 or 70%, 50% physical, 75% mental, something like that. Well, Yogi Berra. Chris Broussard, check out.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.